Do I look skinnier to you? Well, welcome to the new garage, or as I like to call it, the above ground basement. It is definitely a work in progress because I haven't done much work, so it is still in progress. But let me show you what we're going to be working with for probably the next year. All right, so you may or may not be able to tell, but it is extremely bright outside, and that's going to wreak havoc on the camera. Not to mention, I miss my basement with hardly any windows. So let's go ahead and shut this garage door. And while we're doing that, we're going to shut some of these other things in here, like this pull down shade. And that's going to make this a lot more cozy for me. There is still some light in here, but not a ton. But welcome to the above ground basement gym, otherwise known as a garage. And obviously you can tell it's pretty dark and pretty dingy in here. It's going to be one of the things I'm going to have to adjust to over time, as well as a lot of other things, which I'll fill you in on. But first, the first thing I want to talk about is what I'm doing so far with this space. You can see there's some stuff here, some new stuff that you might not have seen before, some old family friendly favorites like He-Man and Skeletor as well. The way this garage is, there's not a ton of lighting artificially. And for video purposes, that's usually what you want because normal sunlight, while it's great, is not very even. So recording is tough. So you have the garage door light there. There is a hanging light, which I'll do right here. Let me actually go ahead and turn off the auto ISO on the camera just so you get an idea. So this is kind of similar to what I'm seeing. As you can tell, it's very dark. I have went ahead and installed some of the lighting I had in my previous basement, and I'll kind of try to show you where that is first. So up here on one of the joists, I have a lighting strip here of LED lights. There are some right there as well. And then I have another one right here. These probably aren't the final resting spots, but when I turn these on, which I will do right now, it makes this a lot better of a space. Again, the ISO here is pretty low. Ideally, I'll probably increase it a little bit here, give you an idea of what it looks like till I get to about the normal exposure level. That's gonna be right around there or so. But I'm gonna put it on auto ISO because I'm lazy and I'll be moving around. But this makes it much better. But again, when I'm training, I'll probably open up the garage door depending on how nice it is. And it's a fairly nice day here in Southern Rhode Island. But I still have a lot of work to do. So I have my deadlift platform set up right here for now. I also have two other stall mats put up right here. This is more than likely where my rack is going to be going. I'll be putting up a new video on that somewhat soon, talking about which rack I got and why I got it. But I wanted to show you just the space in general. It is a very old and pretty dusty ass space, but I'm lucky I have one because I didn't think I was going to have this space at all. We are renting this place from a family friend, and as part of that, they're originally going to use the garage for storage, which you can still see a lot of their own stuff in the back, and that's probably going to stay here. I have tidied this up quite a bit already, surprisingly enough. Part of it is we just moved in also, so I need to do some cleaning as well, which I've already done some. And by cleaning, I mean I turned on that leaf blower over there that you can see and tried to blow out as much shit as I could. My next step here is to go through with a shop vac and pick up anything else that was left behind. And then of course, rearrange some of that stuff in the back to make it as aesthetically pleasing and to get as much space as I can. Now, one of the difficult things for me with this space is the shape. So it is a higher roof in some areas, as you can see. Unfortunately, the highest part of this roof also happens to be where the garage door is. So when the garage door opens, if it were to open, that's going to limit my space. And I also don't want to put anything underneath the garage door space that is potentially taller, because if someone opens the garage door, that means bye-bye for the garage door and or equipment. So that's one of the downsides. You'll also see you have some funky beams going across here. You have what appears to be like a heater, which I don't think works, which is not alone in a lot of stuff. So here you have the switch to turn it on. At least I think it is. Does not work. In the winter, hopefully I can get that working because that would be helpful. You have a bunch of overhang stuff here. You also notice the roof starts to slope and it comes down to the point right about here, where is just about where the height of my former basement was. So that's roughly around 90 inches or so. And most normal racks are 90 inches. And you have other stuff that hangs down. You have this weird frame thing here that looks like it was a shelf of some sort before. So it leaves me with not a lot of options as far as what I can fit in here. for a good size space, but I think I found something that makes it work pretty well. So deadlift platform here for now. The rack will eventually go right there. I have my Iron Master dumbbells that I need to figure out where those are going. More than likely they're going to go over there along with a weight stack. That'll probably be moving. My glorified belt holder from Titan Fitness. Right now it has a curl bar, some bands, my belts, and the Kabuki shoulder rock in there as well. Some of this stuff needs to go outside, so a kiddie pool for my son, although I'm sure I could throw some ice in here and make it into a new ice bath, a water table, again, some other odds and ends. One of the new pieces of equipment is right here is this 9-bar Olympic bar holder from Valor Fitness. I picked this up because it was like 80 to 90 bucks. I'm not going to be able to install my actual gun rack from Rogue because again, we're renting this place and I don't want to drill anything into the holes here, which is another reason I'm not going to be bolting my actual rack down. So again, the rack I have, which I'll do a separate video on, or I ordered, did a little bit of unique things with that to make sure that it would fit, given that it's a smaller rack in terms of footprint, but still want to make sure that it's stable enough to lift weight in. But this Valor Fitness 9 barbell holder, it's pretty fancy. You can see some bars in here. It has 7 in there right now, 2 of which are new. So the first new one that you might be able to see based off that bend is a Strong Arm Sport Buffalo bar. So as soon as I get weights in my rack in, I'll be giving this a go, but you might be able to see here the knurling is pretty impressive. Probably not going to focus, of course not. But the knurling on this feels good. It looks good. I'm going to compare this to the Duffalo bar that I had. I said had because I sold my Duffalo bar. And I also have, which you can probably see in here, 2 safety squat bars. So one is the tried and true Elite FTS safety squat yoke bar. The other one is from Bells of Steel. And spoiler alert, I do not recommend this bar. Unfortunately, this is the first Bells of Steel or Strong Arm Sport piece of equipment that I can't really say is worth the price. This is very similar to the Titan V1 safety squat bar. So I probably just gave away my video that I'll be doing on that eventually at some point. But overall, this thing works really well. It's not bolted to the ground. It is super stable. I'm shaking it, but you can't tell because it's super stable. So that's new. And I'll probably get some other stuff once I actually get the rack in here, the new weights, because as you can tell, the calibrated plates are gone. So once I get everything in here and set up, at least the basics, what I'll then do is see how much other space I have and what I can potentially fit in here. But this is what I'm working with. I set up this little shelf here, as you saw before. So I have my He-Man and Skeletor. We need to find a new home for him or them. Some straps and wraps. Some knee sleeves, resistance band set. I could actually be doing this right now, but I'm not. So I'm waiting till I get all my weights in. A whole bunch of different other things on here, shoes, and just some other odds and ends. So getting settled. It is a work in progress. Unfortunately, again, because we're renting this place and it's going to be short term, and I don't want to put a lot of effort into making it look nice, but it'll be a nice change of pace. And when I eventually move into the new house that's being built, which will be ready next year, it'll make it all worth it. So I wanted to give you guys a quick update of where I am at currently. On a side note, I have not trained in a very, very long time, and I'm going to flip the camera around and talk about that real quick before I let you go. So as the time I'm making this video, which is April 25th, it's been roughly about 3.5 weeks since I've been able to train, and to be honest, it sucked a lot. Last time you guys saw with my training, I was doing the Juggernaut AI powerlifting program, and all the volume started to catch up with me, and compound that with the fact that I was moving and lifting a lot of heavy equipment, both from selling my gym and also moving furniture and dealing with a lot of other stuff, that my back was just feeling like absolute trash and I needed to take some time off. That initial couple of days off turned into a lot longer because when I finally got ready to train again, which was roughly a week later, I had sold all my gym equipment so I couldn't train at home, so I made the decision to go ahead and join a commercial gym. I went once and my back still felt like trash, so I ended up just taking off some more time, and between moving and work and also going to visit my sister and brother down in Raleigh, North Carolina, just haven't been able to train. I haven't been able to get back on that wagon, so to say. We also had some interesting issues with this rental on the Easter Sunday, where the sewer line burst to the house. So that was a pretty shitty day, if you can imagine. But that being said, here I am, and I'm waiting for the rest of the gym equipment to come in, which hopefully should be in the next week or two. You guys know how this goes. You can't just order gym stuff and it come in nice and easy, but I'm excited to see what comes in, when it comes in, And I'll be sure to update you guys on that process and kind of keep you updated on how this is going with the home gym or the garage gym or the above ground basement gym as it comes. Now, unfortunately, as I already mentioned, because we don't own the house, it's not a long-term rental, and not to mention that I wasn't really supposed to have access to this space as is, I can't do a lot of things, and I don't want to do a lot of things to it, like invest in making it look more aesthetically pleasing or really emptying it out or drywalling the walls. Not that I ever did that in the last 4 to 5 years of training in the basement anyways, but it's just going to be an adjustment, as is the next year, but I'm looking forward to it because it's going to give me some stuff to give you guys some new content, as many of you guys have garage gyms and couldn't relate to poor old basement Brandon. But like I said, looking forward to getting back into training. I miss it dearly, more than you know. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't been making YouTube videos as well. I just haven't had time, I haven't had space, and haven't had the motivation to do so because there's been so much going on. But hoping to get back into it within the next couple of weeks and bring you guys some reviews. Like I said, I have 2 new barbells to review. I'll have a new rack to review, new weights to talk about, and some other things that are going on. I will say that one of the videos you'll see somewhat soon is more than likely going to be about either what I eat in a day or my go-to foods, and as part of that there is an integration in that video for a sponsorship. So some protein powder was sent to me, so I'm going to do a video integration so I can afford to pay for the stuff that's coming into this gym. Just wanted to give you guys the heads up because I know how much you love that chump change. Now luckily enough, it's just an integration, so it's only going to be a minute or so out of the total video, but seeing how I only really make 5-minute videos, then you're still looking at 20%. You're welcome in advance. Don't hate me too much. We'll talk to you next time. As always, thanks for watching and stay big.